Okay, guys, I like to keep up with Yellowstone, and I have really been watching it for a few months, and it seems that since the swarm started in June of June 12th this year, that there really hasn't been much of a slowdown. It seems that the earthquakes are maintaining its frequency, and they seem to be getting stronger, especially around the West Yellowstone area. I'm also worried about the volcano in the south. I think it's Long Lake, volcano Mammoth Lake, around in California. So I watched that one as well. But I ran across this article that it really needs to be addressed. I'm going to put the link to it in the comment section so that you can read it too. It's from outerplaces.com, and it says, NASA will prevent a volcanic eruption in Yellowstone by draining its heat. Okay, NASA? Sure. Okay, I believe you. It goes on to say, of all of the imminent dangers around the world right now, one slightly less imminent danger that tends to get forgotten is the giant magma chamber beneath Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, which could become a supervolcano if it were to ever erupt. Not to scare you, of course. Of course, as you know, it's already erupted 3 times, but they mentioned that later. But if it were to erupt, most predictions agree that it would create a 25-mile crater in the American Midwest and fire enough ash into the sky to blot out the sun for several years. Well, this situation is a bit more grounded than NASA's normal beat. They're attempting to deal with the situation after deciding a supervolcanic eruption is a more pressing threat to Earth than rogue asteroids hitting us. That's crazy. Brian Wilcox from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory at the California Institute of Technology spoke to the BBC and made the following grave prediction about Yellowstone. He said, I was a member of the NASA Advisory Council on Planetary Defense, which studied ways for NASA to defend the planet from asteroids and comets. I came to the conclusion during that study that the supervolcano threat is substantially greater than the asteroid or comet threat. The article goes on to say that NASA's proposal involves exploiting a weakness already found in Yellowstone. Potential volcanoes can spend ages building up heat until the pressure is enough to cause an eruption, but Yellowstone's process is slowed down because it releases some of that heat out into the surrounding geysers and hot springs, thankfully. This can cool it down slightly, but it doesn't happen fast enough to even things out. The article continues. What NASA would do is drill a hole into the volcano's side and pump water through it in an attempt to speed up this bleeding out of the volcano's heat. Having absorbed some heat, the superheated water would be pumped back out, and Wilcox suspects that this could, 1, cool down Yellowstone enough to prevent an eruption, and 2, provide enough power to start a geothermal plant. That last part is mostly there to bring in government funding, since you can't trust saving lives from a volcano to be enough. Isn't that the truth? The only issue with this plan is that there's some room for error. Yikes. Wilcox explains that if done improperly, they might speed things up by accident. There's, in quotations, the most important thing with this to do is no harm. If you drill into the top of the magma chamber and try to cool it from there, this would be very risky. This could make the cap over the magma chamber more brittle and prone to fracture, and you might trigger the release of harmful volatile gases in the magma at the top of the chamber, which could otherwise not be released. The article continues. Still, anything is better than nothing right now. I don't know. Since its formation 2.1 million years ago, yeah, right, Yellowstone has erupted 3 times at intervals of around 600,000 years, with its last eruption being 630,000 years ago. So yes, it is something we should be looking into soon, although current measurements don't suggest it's about to go critical. Really? Okay. So this is scary, guys, because he's kind of downplaying the risk. Now, I did watch a documentary last week about Iceland and about the geothermal plants that they have in Iceland, and I thought that's really cool because taking heat from the magma and taking heat from the earth not only would solve some energy problems, but it could potentially do enough that it could cool the volcano and not cause it to explode. That's a good thing. The problem is that Yellowstone is nothing to be played around with. Now, any one of the volcanoes in Iceland that they were talking about, one of them erupted in the 1800s and caused serious crop damage and snow in like August and June. So, I mean, we could lose at least a whole growing season with just a regular volcano. Now, and this is no regular volcano. I say don't play around with it. That's just my personal opinion. And the Bible does give us a warning about wormwood, which is an asteroid. Now, NASA, I think they should stick with what they're good at. I think they should stick. Now, I know they're all scientists and astrophysicists and all that. They're very smart. However, they should stick with what their focus is. They should stick to space, because we have the USGS, and those are geologists, and it's just my opinion, they need to be focused on space. Let the geologists worry about Yellowstone. And honestly, if there was an asteroid coming, or if there was Yellowstone coming, about to explode, I don't believe that the government would tell us. I believe that they would keep that hidden and just, get their, big wigs into bunkers and send us to South America, or South, not us, but send them to South America and South Africa or other places out of danger, because I don't think they would do this. They would not let us all have a mass panic. So, and I don't see them doing this because, again, with the funding issue and with the they're not going to let us not pay our electricity bill. I think there's people working behind the scenes to keep us enslaved to our electric companies. Of course, that's a whole other discussion, but there's some developments that they're not going to let happen. That even though the science is there, they're not going to let it happen, because then businesses would go out of business, and of course that's tax revenue, and so they're not going to let that happen. And that's my personal opinion on that. So I don't think they're going to do this, but the very fact that NASA is worried about Yellowstone is disconcerting enough for me, because they said, of course, their whole disclaimer, their typical disclaimer, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Yeah, why are you having an article about, and why are you worried about it? Why are you talking about Yellowstone, and why are you talking about, well, we need to do something, if nothing's going to happen, if it's not an imminent danger, but you just said that we're in more imminent danger from a supervolcano than from an asteroid. So read between the lines, guys. They're worried about it, and they're the scientists, and that's disconcerting. So be aware and watch it. And I suggest that you keep watching the USGS websites, even though they're not going to tell us anything. But at least they kind of try to attempt to put the magnitudes of the earthquakes on the USGS website. The USGS website actually puts all of the earthquakes all over the world over 2.5. And then the Yellowstone Volcanic Observatory, you probably already know this if you're keeping up with it, the Yellowstone Volcanic Observatory puts all of them, including the little teeny tiny ones, and they actually put little dots on the map, and you can pull up the waveforms and stuff and look at them. So stay alert and stay informed, because this is a big deal. Keep your robes white, and I will talk to you next time I make a video. Adios.